welcome to Bottles to Consider. Today we are looking at a real classic. It's not an Nalgene, which is, I think, I've gotten so many requests to just review the classic Nalgene, and I promise it's coming. But today what we're looking at, this is the Klean Kanteen. 27 ounce, they say, 18.8 stainless steel, etc. in a nice blue coating. Got it from Goodwill. This is single wall, uninsulated. It has a sport cap. It has the standard mouth as opposed to the wide mouth. Is it still worth it in this, age of bottle abundance and bottle technology? I feel like I'm saying you should check out a manual Toyota Camry in the age of, Tesla. But, spoiler, there's something to think about there. Okay, so let's get into the pros. The first pro, right off the bat, you'll notice the minute you pick it up, so light. Like, compared to the double-walled bottles, it's just like, oh my goodness, this is like a freaking soda can. It's great. Nice and leak-proof. I'll close the sport cap, which doesn't have a real satisfying click to kind of let you know it's closed or not. In fact, I would probably get a different lid. There might be just a different configuration of this bottle generally, but again, this is what Goodwill had for me. And it's a very common config, so let's, discuss. Nice and leak-proof. Which, originally, this is like one of the original kinds of bottles you get at like an outdoor store or whatever, and it was like meant for camping. And then it was like the camper crunchy kids in college who then started, carrying these around. And then everyone was like, oh, that's kind of a good idea, I think. Leak-proof, light. This blue color, I find beautiful. It's, maybe we say eggplant, aubergine. It feels nice, I feel like I've commented lots on how this sort of like coating of different bottles, it can just be a really nice effect. Like, does it feel nice when you touch the bottle? And I find with these, it does. It feels relatively, nice quality. It, on the inside, I'm not going to tip it. It has water in it. But, it's pretty easy to clean if you have a brush. It's like a clear stainless steel. There's nothing too complicated there. This, I don't love a sports cap. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, I think now we can actually just jump to cons. So cons, you don't get a lot of nice feedback of when you've locked it in. It's just kind of like a friction slides in and you're like, I can't push it anymore. I guess that's closed. I'm not sure if you can disassemble it. I maybe wouldn't do this cap. And that, though, brings back to a pro. So we're kind of bouncing back and forth in this episode. Nice pro, there's a number of different caps. And for these bottles, the uninsulated, you can get a standard mouth or you can get a wide mouth. And they both kind of have different sets of caps. I probably would do a wide mouth because this standard mouth is in that it hits my nose. So it's not big enough to sort of encase my nose, but it's not small enough to fit under my nose. So I end up awkwardly kind of getting stuck. And the sport cap's nice to sip from. I've enjoyed it. But it has that noise too. It's just not a super pleasant drinking experience to me. This company though, Klean Kanteen, I'll say, I feel like they've fallen a little under the radar or something in the era of Hydro Flask, Yeti, and Swell, Corksicle. Corksicle's a very kind of boutique one, but there's very stylish boutique ones, and then there's very performance ones. And this, sometimes I feel like it's lost in the discussion, and I just want to say, they have no, I have no affiliation with them of any sort. I have no affiliation with anyone. But every time I try a Klean Kanteen product, I'm just impressed. And so I think if you're looking at bottles, take a look here. They've got a nice big variety. If you see something from a different brand, there's a high likelihood that Klean Kanteen sells something similar. And just everything they have is nice. It's not cheaper. I'm not saying you're going to get a great deal, but I'm saying you might actually get a nicer product. And the Klean Kanteen what is it, the wide mouth with a cafe cap. I reviewed it a while ago. It's a coffee mug. It's been my daily one for so long. And part of the reason, aside from the nice factors just as a daily drinking vessel, is the cap mechanism on it is super waterproof and totally disassemblable and cleanable. And in doing some research for this episode, I was actually on Klean Kanteen's website, and they have these things. Let me just look up what they're called. There's a lot of different names. It's annoying, but for a lot of their types of lids, or at least two, I should say, they have maintenance kits you can buy, which essentially are gasket replacements and little tools for like taking the gaskets out, which I'm like, you could probably just do with a knife, but whatever. This is like better. And it's just like, it feels like they're kind of actually putting their money where their mouth is a little. Like, we want you to be reusing shit and, you know, not just have to buy a new bottle. And like, I just really appreciate that. Like, there's no reason this chunk of stainless steel shouldn't function holding water for a long, long time. And the points of failure are going to come in all these other places. And Klean Kanteen seems to be like encouraging you to, you know, replace what doesn't work, keep what does work. And I just really appreciate that. And maybe a lot of other companies have that. I haven't seen it, certainly not as prominently kind of advertised, which I just think is really cool. So, you know, I'd say two things. Revisit whether you always need a bottle that's insulated, because there's a lot of benefits if you're willing to give that up. There are drawbacks as well. You know, condensation is a thing. If you fill this with ice, not only will the temperature change rather quickly, you'll also get some condensation, which, you know, is rough. But again, just think about it before you instinctively jump to the more expensive, heavier, insulated bottle. Then the second thing, whether insulated or not is for you, I would say just keep Klean Kanteen in mind. Maybe you see them around less these days, but they make like really good stuff in my opinion. And they seem to have an emphasis on kind of maintenance, which I super appreciate. So take a look. I'll put a link to this bottle and anything else I mentioned, you know, in this episode. I'll put a link to it all in the show notes. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Alrighty. Bye.